ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon and Ed Wallace. We are retired New York City police detectives with 20 plus years of law enforcement. And if you like all things true crime related from a police perspective, consider hitting the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, so you will get all things DutyRon and my partner here, Ed Wallace, when we go live or upload another video. Tonight, we have a non-true crime related guest. She is going to be fantastic for education purposes. She's a doctor of audiology. And I know I'm saying that kind of wrong. I get like a tongue twist to that, but she's an ear doctor. She's Dr. Earwax on TikTok. I talked to you guys earlier today about her. She is, for me, I'm fascinated with her. Ed's wife is into that whole earwax thing and watching those balls drop out of people's ears. She's got a lot of good information. We're going to get into it. But before we start, I want to say a special thank you to all of the Patreon supporters, the channel members, and all of the folks who positively interact in all of our live streams. You guys are an instrumental part of this great community. And Ed and I give you thanks and praise. If I had a cap on, I'd be tipping it to you guys. So thank you, and thank you, and thank you. The moderators are top-notch. The community here is fantastic. Before we get into it, Dr. Taylor is in the green room waiting to come on with us, but I'm going to set up for some of my outside the country and some of my inside the country of guests. I'm going to play a little piece of media. It's about, I don't know, a couple months old, because she now is way above what the numbers that they speak about on this interview. Ed, before we go into this piece, where are you checking in from tonight? Everybody's asking in the chat, where is Ed Wallace? Where is he live streaming from? Give him a little bit of where you are, Ed.
Okay, guys. You know, I teach for Louisiana State University, so I'm in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, streaming from a hotel room.
So there you go. He's on location, remote from his hotel room. He's got the lights dimmed, and yes, he is by himself, even though there looks like 2 beds in the background there. So without further ado, I want to just give you a little bit of background and just give you a little bit of an overview of Dr. Taylor before she comes on. So here we go. I'm going to add this to the screen, and let's let it roll. Let it roll, Josh.
That is your beautiful eardrum there.
Dr. Emily Taylor is an audiologist. She owns Taylor Listening Center in Pikesville, but she's also a TikTok star.
Hey, Dr. Taylor here telling you what's going on in this video.
Dr. Taylor is Dr. Earwax on TikTok. She posted her first video as a way to reach young people about the dangers of loud noise exposure.
During COVID, I found TikTok and I used it personally and enjoyed it. And it just seemed like a really fun way to get out to this younger population. It's the only type of hearing loss that is preventable. And I go to concerts and I realized nobody around me is wearing any sort of hearing protection.
From hearing protection to earwax removal, she's really become an overnight sensation with nearly 500,000 followers and videos with millions and millions of views in just over a month.
I was sitting at dinner with my husband and I looked at my phone, and like all of a sudden, every minute I was getting hundreds of views, which was really exciting because we're getting thousands of questions as well. It's like a fun way for people to talk to an expert in the field. People are talking about tinnitus and just that they didn't even know they could get hearing loss from a concert.
Dr. Taylor's coworkers help record some of the videos, and patients can decide if they'd like to make an appearance online.
People are coming in because they've seen the TikTok videos and they're like, are we making a TikTok video today? And I'm like, if you have good wax, we can. Like, let's settle down.
Using the power of social media in the name of education.
100%. And like, we're having fun doing it. Oh, yeah. Did you see what just came out?
Jennifer Franciotti, WBAL TV 11.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is a part of what Dr. Taylor does on a regular basis. She has a Bachelor of Arts in hearing and speech. Why can't I see this? Okay, but right, from the University of Maryland. I don't know why. All of a sudden, just my vision went out. She's got a hearing and speech Bachelor of Arts from the University of Maryland. She also went on for her doctorate of audiology from Towson University. And then again, I remember University of Maryland, go Terps, right? I heard her say that maybe 5 or 6 times in some of her videos. So without further ado, I want to introduce our esteemed guest. This is a TikTok superstar, guys. Dr. Emily Taylor, welcome. Thank you for joining.
So excited to be here, tuning in from Baltimore in my closet.
Oh my God. I think I needed an eye doctor for a second. All of a sudden I got spots in my eyes. I couldn't read your bio information. But listen, we have a lot of people here. There's over 150 folks and the audience is building. Just give them a little bit of background of how you became onto TikTok, how this whole story started, and what got you into this line of work, your studies. Just give a little bit of an overview for the folks.
Yeah, awesome questions. All right, let's start with what got me into audiology. It's something that a lot of people don't even know about. So at University of Maryland, I knew I wanted a kind of math, science, health career, helping people. And I took a bunch of intro classes to different lines of work, and audiology just felt like a really natural, good fit. The classes were really hard, but manageable. And I fell in love with it there. And then quickly after that, I found a local audiologist who kind of took me under his wing and let me come shadow him for weeks at a time over my summer breaks, and history since then. And then I went to Towson for my doctorate. It's a 4-year program. And I opened my own practice right after grad school, which was in 2013. And I opened right close to where I grew up. And I decided to open right out of school just so that I could practice the way I wanted to. I had in grad school, we got to see how lots of people were doing it, and I wanted to make it my own. So we'll get more into that later. But
yeah, very, very cool. Very awesome. And what I found fascinating too about some of the things, like I looked into your practice, I did a little bit of research, and I love the fact that she's just like us. She gives back to her community. And that started from the beginning. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, thank you. So we do 2 different approaches to giving back. The first one is, I believe everybody should have access to hearing technology if they have a hearing loss and it's important to them. So we donate hearing aids to people in the community who can't afford them. And then the second part is every month we choose a local nonprofit. And for each hearing test we do in the office, we donate the proceeds to that charity each month. So it's a lot of fun. That's probably one of my favorite things to do at work. Other than now make TikToks.
Exactly. And your office seems like a great place to work. It looks like all of the staff are fully involved with you. And, we'll talk a little bit more about when you go live on TikTok and how that goes. Ed, do you have any questions for her? Because I know that you're chomping at the bit.
Oh, no, I love that video. I love you removing some of these crazy things from people's ears. Do you work with the hearing impaired? Is that predominantly who you work with?
Yeah, so we work with all ages, but hearing loss management's probably our top thing we do. So everything from diagnosing a hearing loss to managing it with hearing aids.
Okay, and what about signing? Do you sign?
I don't sign. I tried to take a course in college and it just was not sticking. But a lot of our patients are not part of the deaf community.
Okay.
Because they're coming to us for hearing aids.
What's the craziest thing you've ever taken out of somebody's ears?
It's a really good question. I wish I could say a bug because I'm like just waiting for that. But I mean, really just some like gnarly wax that has been in there for a while. Huge wads of cotton from people using Q-tips, which is a big no-no. And then someone had like a part of a swim plug stuck in his ear for like a few years. We didn't know what it was. And then he's like, I think that was something I put in there a few years ago and I never really found half of it.
Oh my God. Oh.
It was funny too, because you had, I think you had done a viral video where you were making earplugs for a young lady, and some large YouTuber was like critiquing what you were doing. And she thought that the little foam pads that you were putting into the ears were stuck in her ears and you were somehow fishing that out. And I found that kind of comical that you did a correction. Did you ever hear from that YouTuber that you corrected or no?
No, I wasn't really expecting to hear back. She's got like 30 million YouTube subscribers, but Sniper Wolf, if you're watching, it just was actually kind of dangerous that she was telling people that this was a way to remove things from your ear when in fact it's a procedure done by a professional to take custom molds. So I didn't want people like looking for bubble gum and Play-Doh and trying to like get wax out of their ears.
It was about education and making the proper. You wanted your video to have the proper direction and people not to be misguided by it, and I get that. I'm going to show quickly the her business here because I want to read to you. This is the Taylor Listening Center, and this is available online. It's linked in the description. So underneath this important information about COVID-19 and whatnot, it says, at the Taylor Listening Center, we specialize in hearing testing, hearing aid fittings, hearing conservation, tinnitus. I know tinnitus. I'll always call it tinnitus. Tinnitus management and providing complimentary on-site hearing screenings for local businesses. So this is just a look at her, professional website. I encourage, if you're in the Baltimore area, I believe that's where it is, Baltimore area, go on over or call up and make an appointment and check her out. But it just looks like a fascinating career to be in. I have personally myself been to many, my ENT, he has a on-staff audiologist, a woman that does the beep, and I'm testing because I have continuous ringing in my ears, and I know everybody in the chat here, they're all just waiting they can't wait to ask you questions. But tinnitus is, and am I saying that right? Is it tinnitus? Am I saying it correct? Or I'm a little bit off? You can correct me. I'm doing it right. All right, she gave me the clap.
Doing it great. Tinnitus.
So tinnitus is a ringing in either one or both of the ears. Can you just talk a little bit about how that develops? Because I am a 20-year sufferer of this. The only time I get a break from it, and this was one of the reasons that I was attracted to you, is because not only did I see you in my suggested feeds, I just said, wow, I have that condition that she talks about. You have a 4-part series that I'm going to play from your TikTok with your permission. If I have your permission, it's a 4-part series, but can you just talk a little bit about how that could develop and maybe some remedies or some things? Because I tried everything from a holistic approach and nothing worked. So.
Yeah, so tinnitus, that's probably one of the most frequent things we're asked about because it can really wreak a lot of havoc in someone's life. So the main causes of tinnitus are noise exposure, loud, repeated noise exposure, musicians, people in the line of duty, people who work with power tools, so noise exposure. And then it can be a side effect of hearing loss. And then there are ototoxic medications that can cause it as well. And then ways to prevent it, really the only preventable way would be from protecting your hearing when around dangerously loud sounds. So that's why we are trying to educate the public on the risks we're taking when we go to concerts. And management wise, there's no cure for it. That's what's really, it can be stressful for people to hear that. So we try to lead with compassion when we're working with the tinnitus patients. I have tinnitus as well. I've had it for about 15 years. So I'm coming really from a place of personal experience. And a lot of it's counseling and making sure the person knows it's usually not caused by something scary. And stress and fatigue can make it sound louder. And if you're, in quiet, it can sound louder. So it's really breaking down where it's causing the most impact on someone's life, and then kind of finding solutions for each area of their life that's negatively impacted.
Emily, do you get this a lot? Does this afflict many of your patients, or is this something that is just for a select group? Because I can't go to a party without speaking to somebody that says, I have that. I have that. I mean, do we have figures, or is it, is this something that afflicts, 1 in 10 Americans? I don't know what with this. This is really a horrible thing and no cure.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely affects millions of Americans. I don't have the exact rate for you. It's always changing, but lots of research is being done. They're still trying to figure out exact what causes it. They do cadaver studies. So true crime. They are studying temporal bones of the deceased. And there's a few different theories about it. And I think if we find a cure for it, I mean, millions of people will be really relieved. I do want to tell you guys, don't invest in the holistic stuff. There's no FDA approval for it. There's no research to show it helps. People do acupuncture. I have not seen that help. It's really just managing it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've been there, done that, but thank you for that tip, Doc. Again, I had about a vertigo that went along with my onset of this tinnitus. I fell down stairs on a Thanksgiving morning. I think it was like 2004, 2003. And the ringing started immediately, but I was dizzy. I was uneasy on my feet, and that's what led me to fall down the stairs. And then I got diagnosed with vertigo, and it took about a good year and a half for that to just somehow just correct itself, and it just went away. So I had about a both, but the only time I get relief from this is when I go to sleep. So I've learned to use the white noise machine. I have like one of those little boxes that you plug into the wall, and it makes all the noises. My wife, she could do with it or without it.
She could live without it.
Yeah, she's good. We're married 30 years, so by now, if she hasn't left me, she's good. I want to play for the audience your 4-part series, if you don't mind. And guys and girls, don't get alarmed. She does have pink hair in this. Okay, so I'm gonna play each of the parts, if you don't mind, Doc. I don't want you getting mad at us, but let's
talk about tinnitus.
Let's put it on the scene.
First of all, it's not pronounced tinnitus, and tinnitus is a sensation of hearing a sound in your ears, such as ringing or buzzing, that other people can't hear. The most common cause of tinnitus is prolonged exposure to loud noises, such as music or working around construction equipment without wearing hearing protection. Other causes of tinnitus include hearing loss due to aging, wax impactions or ear infections, as well as some medications that are known to cause it. Hey guys, in part 2, we're going to talk about what you should do if you already have tinnitus. First of all, if your tinnitus is accompanied by hearing loss and dizziness, you should go see a doctor right away. An audiologist or an ENT will be your first stop. I would also recommend talking to an audiologist if you consider your tinnitus bothersome to everyday living. Tinnitus can cause increased stress levels, trouble sleeping, as well as anxiety and depression. And all of those things can also make your tinnitus worse, which makes it a bit of a vicious cycle. I recommend talking to a therapist or counselor if you're having anxiety and depression from it. And I also recommend working on healthy sleep habits, such as meditating before bed and making sure to shut off electronics a good bit before you plan to go to bed. In part 3, we'll talk about how to cope with your tinnitus. Congrats that you've made it to part 3. In this video, we'll talk about how to cope with your tinnitus. To figure out how to cope with your tinnitus, you first have to figure out where you're most bothered by it. Is it when you're trying to fall asleep, meaning it's loudest when it's most quiet? If that's the case, I definitely recommend sleeping with some sort of sound masker in the background,
Bingo.
Whether it's like an ocean sound or a white noise, or even just sleeping with a fan on. If the tinnitus is caused by hearing loss due to aging, I recommend trying out a hearing aid. I have a lot of patients who put a hearing aid in, and for the first time in sometimes decades, they feel like they have complete silence in their brain, which is a really huge thing to see. Finally, go see an audiologist for a tinnitus evaluation. Sometimes finding out that your tinnitus isn't caused by something scary is helpful in itself. In part 4, we'll talk about how to prevent tinnitus. In part 4, we'll discuss how to prevent tinnitus.
We'll begin what happened.
In part 4, we'll discuss how to prevent tinnitus.
Did I skip part 4?
Since the most common cause of tinnitus is exposure to loud noises, my number 1 recommendation for preventing tinnitus is to wear hearing protection when you're around dangerously loud sounds. That would mean concert plugs to a music festival or just like an outdoor concert event. Wearing them around construction work, loud hobbies, firearm shooting, all of those things, wear hearing protection. If you have tinnitus and are taking medications, check with your pharmacist to see if tinnitus is a side effect of any of your medications. And last but not least, be proactive if you have chronic wax production. Make sure you're regularly getting that cleaned out by a professional or safely doing it at home. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comment section and I will.
That's awesome. I love it. It's so informative. And it's, I mean, where did the pink hair come from? Is that an app or is that really, did you have pink hair?
It's a filter. And just watching that, I really need to consider a hair color change. I look good.
Yeah, people in lots of the ladies, because predominantly my audience is women. They're all like, "Hey, I gotta get a hair color change. It looks pretty cool on you." And if I close my eyes, you sound a little bit like Kim Kardashian. I don't know why. I don't know if you get that a lot.
Say that.
Yeah, I don't know if you get that a lot, but I closed my eyes for a second and I thought I was listening to Kim. But anyways, that's not an insult in any way because I like her voice. So yeah, that was very informative, and I wanted to play that because it covered all grounds. We already spoke about some of these little pointers that you gave there, but a very good bit of information. So I'm going to recommend, and I'm going to show on the screen your TikTok. I mean, not that she needs more followers, but let's go over to her page. She does need it. She wants to get to 1 million. So we're up to 906,000. And climbing. She's got 16.2 million likes. That is a huge jump. You've started with this, you said, in September of 2020?
Last week of September. No, of this year.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That's incredible. That's incredible. How did you break out like this? Was it one video? Was it that one that made 86 million views? Or what was it that was the breaking point here? Because I got to try it.
I know, take notes. I think I had only posted 4 videos and then like a week or so in, you know, they all had a little traction, like maybe 1,000 views, which seemed like a lot to me. And then I was just sitting at dinner one night and like it was blowing up all of a sudden and all the videos were starting to get a lot of views. And it was like, it was cute. In the beginning, I was like, this one's going to reach 10,000 views. And I mean, yeah, now we're up to 84 million. So it's crazy.
Yeah. Impressive. Hey, Doc, since we've had COVID, have you seen any more patients dealing with hearing issues, COVID related?
I've had a few of my patients, like longtime patients, who said they did have COVID and they did feel like their hearing got a little worse afterwards. But people have brought up a link with tinnitus and the COVID vaccine, and I have not heard that to be a true statement. No one has reported that to me either. So some minor changes in hearing have been reported with COVID.
One of our listeners here are asking about Meniere's syndrome. Are you familiar with Meniere's syndrome, and can you talk about it?
Yeah, so Meniere's syndrome, that's a tricky one. It usually starts in one ear. Sometimes it works its way over to the other ear. It's a triad of symptoms. It's unfortunately not something you can completely diagnose. It's really kind of like ruling out other symptoms, but people with Meniere's have periods of debilitating vertigo, like complete room spinning dizziness. They can't leave their bed. They also get a roaring tinnitus in their ears, and then they have hearing loss. So those 3 are like the classic signs of Meniere's. There's not a huge amount that can be done. They are working on medications for it, and a low salt diet is recommended for that.
Okay. There was also talking about, somebody was asking about, what are your feelings about using the candle to burn the wax out? Yeah,
that's a big no. It's a big no.
Before you go into that answer, can you talk about what happened on TikTok? Because I was seeing a WTF from you. What? Why? I saw that video. You were giving a PSA like, no, don't do this.
And they banned me for 24 hours for encouraging dangerous acts. I was like, which I don't understand because there's hundreds of.
You are temporarily blocked from posting. Last night, I posted a video showing other people ear candling and advising people that this is extremely dangerous and not safe to do. And what did TikTok do? They banned me for 24 hours. They said that I was encouraging, dangerous acts. I was the one telling people not to ear candle. Don't use ear candles, people. Let's be smarter than lighting a fire by our head for something that doesn't actually work. Thank you. Maybe I'll be.
I like when you say thank you. You always say thank you at the end.
Thank you.
See, that's what happens when an algorithm looks at what you're doing on TikTok instead of a person, and not understanding the dynamics of what you're trying to do.
Right. Yeah.
I just don't get how it works because I took videos from TikTok of other people doing it. So I don't get like why those videos are still up and they're encouraging it where.
Well, they look at the larger size accounts and you're more, you're being held to a higher standard basically. So again, like with me here, I have this, the silver play button here.
Oh, that's so cool.
If I was to go on and speak about something that the masses didn't want to be out there, my channel would get shadow banned or would get kind of like, it would get throttled, if you will. So, and that's just part of being a large influencer is what you're considered as a large influencer on their platform. I don't know anything about TikTok, but I would assume that they're all aligning each other with things like that. And as Ed said, it's not a real person that watched that. It was a computer that shut you down. So
just to talk about the ear candling though, I mean, there's tons of videos where they actually put the candle just in a cup and they show the same results that you'd get out of your ear.
Well, I'll say this: if they come after me for showing that, I'm coming after you. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding.
So what do you advise on how to maintain cleaning your ears?
It's so funny to me how obsessed people are with cleaning their ears. If they truly understood it, they would know that the ear self-cleans. So the less you do, the better. Some people chronically overproduce wax, and those people should see a professional on a semi-regular basis. But the majority of us have nothing in their ears. And people are like, oh, I use a Q-tip every day, and my doctor says my ear is so clean. It's not because you're Q-tipping. It's because you don't produce a lot of earwax. So try to break the habit. Q-tips are not designed to go in your ears. I just had a patient in yesterday. Oh my God, this was a freak accident. He was cleaning his ear and walking around his bathroom and he slipped and his elbow hit something and he punctured right through his middle ear. Ooh. And he passed out immediately from the dizziness it caused and needed tons of surgery, has a lot of hearing loss from it. He could have gone deaf from that, but he got lucky.
God, yeah, he got lucky. Let me show a quick PSA that you have up. This is all on her TikTok.
Representation of why you should not use Q-tips in your ears. You see that the Q-tip is only pushing that wax impaction further into your ear canal. Stop using Q-tips. Thank you.
There's the thank you.
My ENT said,
I got to shut the music. It's
the gremlins are here.
This is what I hate about TikTok is like, you can't just play one video. It cycles through the next one because they want to force feed you the next. So that's what it was doing. But again, Q-tips, I am guilty as charged. Folks, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, what do we have? 200 and something people here. I am guilty as charged. At 57, I stick a freaking Q-tip in my ear every morning. I don't do it anymore. Since 2 days ago when I met her, I stopped. So my wife said to me this morning, she's like, oh, so you meet some doctor on TikTok and now you stop using these Q-tips? But I was like, nobody's ever, like even my ENT, you know what he said to me? He said, don't go in if you have to do it. Just stay on, if you want to do up in and around here, like in the folds, like I get grossed out when I see people's ears and I see crud there, like in the opening here. And so I just go here. I don't go in and dig for China. I'm just doing the outside. And then I look at it. Oh, there's nothing there. I throw it out. So I am
the other day.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I get grossed out when I see someone's ear and it's like all crud here where you could visibly see it. She's talking about in that illustration going into your ear. Like, I don't do that. But
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
When the wax is that far out, that means the ear has done its job. The skin in the ear, it's the only skin on the body that migrates. It moves outwards. And we're supposed to produce wax. But when you see it on the outer edge, that means it has ejected the wax. And took care of it for you. So the safer thing to do would be to like put a washcloth on your finger and kind of just go in as far as that.
My ENT told me you shouldn't stick anything bigger than your elbow in your ear. And then in my shower, I'll take the shower and spray water in my ear, but I won't, I won't dig deep down in there. But my wife, she loves these ear shows on YouTube, and she loves, hey, look at this, watch this. They're gonna pull this thing out of this ear, and it's amazing. She gets so excited by these things, and she shows it to everybody. And I admit to myself, I like it too. It's something about it, but it's just crazy how things get in people's ears.
I pull some nasty stuff out of people's ears, and I enjoy doing it, but I can't watch the videos. Like, it's almost painful for me to make my TikTok videos because I have to like keep watching it and keep editing it. And I don't like it.
Well, here's the thing too, is like, I have this little syndrome that goes on, and we're gonna go to the chat. I see everyone's getting all, hey, what about me? We're gonna take a period of time, about 10 or 15 minutes towards the end as we wrap up. And so hold those questions for the doctor to the end. I'm trying to just get a couple of things. So here's what happens to me too. Now, I don't want to make this all about me, but this is my show. So
we have to start paying you for this consultation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, send me a bill and I'll forward it to Josh, the producer, and I'll see if he can pay it. So like when I eat, sometimes I feel like my ears get wet. Like, it's like I'm almost feel like it's like a wetness in my ear. So I'm doing this. My wife's like, could you stop? We're in a restaurant. Why are you doing that? So is that what goes on with that?
I've literally never heard that before. And I'll be the first to admit when I don't know the answer to something.
Thank you.
You're one in a million.
Yeah.
So our producer, I'm sorry. Our producer is asking, what is the purpose of earwax?
It's a good question. So we have sebaceous glands in our ear canal designed to produce the wax. It is to prevent infection. It catches debris and keeps it away from our eardrum, which is incredibly thin and delicate. It's there to lubricate the ear and keep it. It prevents like itchiness and dryness. So it's good to have it. It can definitely, you don't want to have too much of it because that can cause pain and muffled hearing. So I find that people who use Q-tips a lot, I can look in their ear and tell that they use a Q-tip. Like, I can accuse them of it without, I just do a little detective work. I see redness in their ear from it. And if they have wax, it's all the way against the eardrum and very tricky to remove. So let there be earwax, let the ear do its job to remove it. And the few people that like chronically overproduce, they get to see me.
I got a good friend who sent in a question. I have a cheat sheet. This is my detective's pad. So I got a bunch of questions here, and you've already checked off 3 of them. Jill from New Jersey says she thinks she's losing hearing. What should she do? She has tinnitus, right? So she's got the ringing, but she doesn't know what to do if she feels like she's losing her hearing, but she doesn't know for sure. What could she do to be sure about that?
Good question. So I recommend going onto Google and typing in audiologist near me, and then look at the reviews, find a doctor that you feel really comfortable with. Try to ignore the ads. Those people have paid to be there. But that's the main way people find us. So seeing an audiologist is your first step. And then if the audiologist finds some red flags, they would refer you out to the appropriate doctor. But audiologist is the one who specializes in hearing loss.
And they'll definitely be able to definitively through that test with the...
It's a little more involved than that. Thank you.
Okay.
Health insurance also covers annual hearing testing. So go somewhere that takes insurance. Don't go for like a free test. When it's free like that, they're just testing you like really for the purpose of fitting you with a hearing aid. Try to avoid high pressure sales. If anything sounds too good, it usually is. I think some audiologists have gotten a bad name for themselves for being like pushy salespeople, and it shouldn't be like that in healthcare. So people come to us because they know they're getting an honest opinion on if for what I recommend for them.
Excellent. Excellent. There's a couple of videos that you posted up that I was really intrigued with. There was this thing about a guy who had Mohs surgery. Could we show that? Is it all right if I show that?
Of course. I just posted it. Let me know how it's doing.
It's got 7,791 hits, so it's doing good.
We could
all right. All right, here we go. I want people to see this because I didn't know that you could get cancer on the inside of your ear. I know people have parts of their outer ear where they get cancer, but this was in the canal, right?
No, it's actually the outer ear you're looking at. So right like here, it's called your concha bowl. It's right in there. And then what you see inside of his ear, he also develops a lot of wax. So
all right, here we go.
see the wax.
I'm gonna play it.
This patient had Mohs surgery to remove cancerous skin cells from his ear canal, and he was complaining he couldn't hear well with his hearing aid. Look what was inside of his ear. So much wax. We scooped it out, cleaned up his hearing aid, put the hearing aid back in, and he heard better than before. This patient.
Excellent. I love it. I love your presentation. I think that you're the way you do it is awesome. That's why you're successful, and you're laughing at it. But guess what? That is the truth. People, you're not giving a presentation like a doctor. You're giving it as like really in layman's terms, and that's the great part. Is because sometimes we listen. Like today, I went to my orthopedic. I took off from work today. I was running around. I have a bad right knee, and he's talking about the patella and the carpal and this and so I had to tell him, hey, just tell me, what is it? Give it to me in layman's terms. So that's why I think you have such great success, is because you are smart and you know what you're talking about. You're a doctor, but you kind of appeal to the common folk. And that's what's great about what you do. I think, that's just my takeaway from it. Ed, you're chomping at the bit. I see it.
Well, I just want to bring it back to forensics. Many people don't know this, and I'm not even sure the doc knows this, but your ear is just as unique as a fingerprint. And we don't do this in the United States, but in Europe, there's a whole earprint society where they identify criminals based upon their earprints that they've left behind at crime scenes.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Heard that one.
Yeah. In fact,
attention to that.
I had a crime scene where in Manhattan, it was a home invasion robbery where the suspect listened to the entrance door of the apartment with the whole left profile of his face pushed up against the metal door. And he left that ear impression on the door. And when I was dusting for fingerprints, I found it and I lifted it. And we had a suspect because I also got his fingerprints from inside the crime scene. And I told the district attorney in Manhattan about this earprint, and she goes, well, that would be something unique and something we've never done here before. Where can I find somebody that can do this analysis? And I sent her to New Scotland Yard for her help with that.
Wow,
that could be my next career.
There you go. Doc, out of all of your TikToks, which one was what is your favorite? What is your favorite one, or one that you'd want me to show to everybody that maybe has the most meaning?
I don't think you can show it. It has very vulgar music to it. I did not think it would blow up. I really like the ones where I'm taking the molds of people, just because it's raising the awareness on concert plugs, preventing hearing loss, preventing tinnitus, and people are so confused by it. So it's kind of fun to see their reactions. But the first one, which was shown in the
news clip
thing on the news, yeah, that was me, getting impressions made and then showing the final product while I'm at a music festival. So it's just cool to bring it to people's attention.
All of your stuff has music, and that's part of what TikTok does. Here on YouTube, we can't play any copyright music. So if it's like big stars music, you can't play it here. Otherwise they don't shut it down, but they actually stop the monetization from it. But she has so many different videos up there. It looks like there's hundreds, maybe. I don't know. There's a ton. I'm looking at rows and rows and rows. All of them have a lot of views. Everybody's interested in them. If you don't have TikTok, sign up for TikTok and go over to Dr. Earwax. And you know what? If you just put that in the search bar, it comes up, because I found that out myself. I'm looking over at my second monitor, but it's really Dr.Ear_wax. And I guess the Dr. Earwax was probably taken, and that's why she did the underscores, I'm guessing. I don't know.
It was easier to read, all broken out.
Oh, okay. So we wanted it separate. Rita, Josh just highlighted, it says, I can hardly stand loud noises anymore. It used to not bother me, but now it sure does. You know, I guess we get more sensitive as we age. I don't know how old you are, Rita, but me at 57, I used to love loud concerts. I would go to see, you know, Rolling Stones, the Eagles, and I would sit front row and like, yeah, Van Halen and blah, blah. No ear protection, no nothing. And hence, look at me. I'm the poster boy for tinnitus. I got it in stereo in both my ears. And that's probably how I paid the price, you know? Always wear those earplugs. I wish I can find one of these without music, because you squirt, it looks like Play-Doh. You're squirting in these people's ears. And then what is it, dry? And then you have the little thing and you pull it out, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like how they make dentures or like a night guard.
There it goes.
What is that material called? It's not the same thing as the dent stone, right?
All right, I have it muted, so I'm going to show it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You could go ahead and explain.
Oh, keep talking.
There will be no music. I'm just going to let this play. There it is.
Like a quick compilation.
All right. Well,
you syringe it in.
What are these mixtures that you're mixing into it?
There are two different compounds that when you combine them, they start to harden. So they come separated. You can use what we call like a caulk gun, where the tip of it swirls together. And it hardens. It's comfortable. People always ask how it feels. It's like really cold feeling and smooth. It actually feels really nice. And then when you have both ears filled up, you can't hear anything. So it's like a nice moment of silence.
Yeah. It's not called Accutans, is it?
No.
Because we use something similar, just like that gun that you have, to cast bite marks and to cast ballistic damage and so forth. It's a two-part composite. You squeeze it together, mixes, it hardens, but it's more like a rubbery substance than something that gets really hard.
It comes out rubbery, so it's probably very similar. We get it through, it's West Tone is the supplier.
Well, if we run out one day, Ed, we just go right over to Pikesville and we can get some from her.
Okay.
At her practice. She's got a ton of it there.
Yeah, we use a lot of things from forensics, from the medical, like the dent stone that's used to do dental impressions. We use it for footwear impressions.
So Shelly Rogers sends in a super chat and she says, question, I just got my J&J and I have ringing in my ear. Any no? Coincidental?
Not that I've heard. But you can look up scholarly articles. I just think it's so dangerous to look online these days. So if you're looking it up, just make sure it's from a scholarly source, like a .org.
In today's society, you see so many people walking around with earbuds. Do the earbuds in and of themselves cause any issues to the ear, or is it just the volume of what they're listening to?
It's mainly the volume. So 85 decibels and under is considered safe. If you are, using them longer than that, you just have to be watching what volume they're at. And then if you're using them regularly for extended periods of time, just make sure they're clean, like haven't picked up anything. And, I have not seen an infection in the ear caused by that, but I have seen some videos of it online. So just make sure they're clean. Your ear needs oxygen throughout the day. So make sure it's getting some breathing air and make sure it's at a safe volume. And you can limit that on your iPhone. Under the health app, you can monitor kind of what your daily noise exposure intake is, if you're at any sort of risk, and how loud your AirPods have been over time.
What's the source of most ear infections?
I'm not sure because I refer out for that. So we can't prescribe. So otitis externa is something we see. It's just an infection of the outer ear. We refer out for that. And then middle ear infections is more typically what people are associating it with. That's what we see a lot in children, just because their eustachian tubes haven't really formed at an angle yet. So just any sort of fluids just rushing into the middle ear.
And I'm guessing it's mostly bacteria because they prescribe antibiotics for it.
Okay. Yeah, they prescribe antibiotics for it, like a drop usually.
Hey, this one that I'm hovering over that looks like custom AirPod, does that have music? Do you recall?
No, it does not have music.
Oh, cool. I'm trusting you. Totally. Oh, I have it muted. Doesn't matter.
You're welcome. Audiologist to make you up hair. You are welcome. Ew, how sick are these custom AirPods? Look at that. They won't fall out of your ears anymore. Go see an audiologist to make you a pair. You are welcome.
You make these?
Ew, how sick are
Come on.
these custom AirPods? Too much.
Stop it. So you make those at your office or no?
Yeah, it's the same technique that you saw with that pink stuff. We just send it out to a company and they build it around whatever kind of, like what kind of mold.
Right, whatever you have. All right, so if it's okay with you, Doc, we're at the 46-minute mark. I promised you under an hour. So let's go for 10 minutes of questions to the audience. I know that you can see the chat, but I know you've been concentrating on the volley of questions, and I promised you that we would go light with you. So we're trying to keep it fun. And, you know, I want you to be able to promise us that you will come back sometime when we need you. And I don't want to wear out my welcome with you. So guys, if you have guys and girls, if you have any questions in the chat, I'm going to look back. So Dawn Marie says, DutyRon, she's one of my moderators. I have about a handful of moderators here tonight, and I got to say, you guys are doing a great job. Thank you so much. Ask about carbamide peroxide. What is that?
I can't see the question, and you're, I think, messing up the word a little, but a lot of people ask me about hydrogen peroxide in the ear. People use it as a way to clean the ears. It's safe to do. Some people dilute it with water. Some people just pour it straight from the bottle, which is okay. You can pour a little bit in the cap of the bottle, and then you just tilt over, pour it in your ear. You will hear it bubbling. Leave it in for about a minute. Have a paper towel ready just to drain it out. It's safe to do. You just don't want to overdo it because it can cause irritation in your ear. So I tell my patients like once every few months, not daily, I wouldn't even do it weekly.
Right. And you're talking about the 3% antiseptic hydrogen peroxide, not the 30 or 40% that you can buy at Sally's beauty salon.
No, yeah, good question.
I think I said it right. It's carbamide peroxide.
I just can't see the question, so I don't know what the word was, but hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah. It's all the same, but Ed, like you said, there's some that's more strong. Ravenkind says this conversation is something everyone's got to have. I agree. You know, this is an overlooked, ear health is overlooked until it gets to the point where you're having a problem. And that's like, you know, that's not a good thing because through education, you can do self-help and you can make sure that your ear health is strong. Jen Lowe, who's also a moderator, she's over in Colorado. She says, can TMJ cause severe hearing issues in the long run? ?
That's a good question. It can cause fullness in your ears and it can cause pain. A lot of times people come in with really severe pain in their ear canal and you look in, there's nothing in there. And then you ask, do you grind your teeth at night? And 9 times out of 10, they say yes. So then I send them to their dentist. But people do get fullness in their ears sometimes from TMJ. I know people who have had surgery for TMJ and then felt like the fullness was relieved. I can't say that I've seen hearing loss caused by it though. More of like a discomfort.
And then there was another question. Thank you, doctor, for that. There's another question about eczema. Any info you can give on someone with eczema in the opening of the ear?
So I always tell patients to start with hydrocortisone cream, just the over-the-counter kind that you can get at the pharmacy. Put a little bit on your finger, put it on the exterior opening of your ear canal. I tell people to do it at night. If that's not giving you enough relief, then it is time to go to a dermatologist who can prescribe something a little stronger.
Excellent. Thank you for that.
Now, I fly a lot, and I noticed that when the plane, especially when it's coming in for a landing and it starts to, decompress, if you will, my ears just get crazy, and I have to hold my breath, hold my nose, and try to pop the ear. Can I be causing any damage to my ears by doing that?
I guess the only risk you run is perforating your eardrum, which would be very unlikely. But I tell people take Sudafed before flying. It keeps your eustachian tubes nice and open. Flonase is safe to take before a flight. As you know, the old saying of like chewing gum and stuff, just to keep your eustachian tube, the flap popping. So it's just changing with the pressure and trying to keep up with the pressure changes. So keep popping.
There you go. So here's a question from Joey Brooklyn, another moderator, a great friend. He says, when you yawn, why do your ears pop?
It's a good question. You're like, I can kind of make my eustachian tube flap open and close. We all can do it. That's what you're doing when you pop it. So it's kind of just like putting air through. You hear the pop of the eustachian tube flap, and then you can kind of hear your eardrum moving. It's normal. It's safe. People hear clicking sometimes. That's all. You're just hearing sounds that are actually in your head.
There you go. Thank you so much for that, doctor. We're getting close to the end. Ashley Oaks says, I had a yeast infection in my ear. Okay. That saved the day right there. And now suffer from horrible itching. What can I do?
Yeah, that goes back to the other answer of if the hydrocortisone cream is not helping, then it's time to see a dermatologist. Even an ear, nose, and throat physician can prescribe, but I like going to a dermatologist for that.
There you go. Dermatologist. And the cream that you said to use for the eczema, my son used to get it on the back of his neck when he was a kid, you know, like maybe 12, 13, you know, young teenager. And we used that cream and it worked very well on the skin. So that is definitely a good option.
And it's mild and safe. Yeah, safe
Right.
to use.
Ronnie Girl, she spells it with an I, R-O-N-I, Girl, 1971. That was a good year. She says, DutyRon, I have a lot of questions, LOL, and an excessive earwax. I use a pimple tool and I have eczema too. Creams, ointments don't help at all. Was going to show you my pimple tool. I
It's
just
a
threw up in my
statement, not a
mouth.
question.
I love you, Ronnie Girl, but don't show me that pimple tool, please. Doc, your thoughts?
We're sending you to the dermatologist and stop
Good.
putting things in your ears. What are you doing with the pimple tool?
Yeah, so my friend Detective Comer, he's still on the job, so he's got close to 30 years. He used to take the Bic pen cap, the blue pen cap, and he was digging. We shared a bit. We used to drive around a big transport van, and he used to pick in his ear, and he's like 6'7", 335 pounds. And I was afraid to tell him, stop that bullshit, stop doing that. And you see him, he's digging in his ear because he was itchy. His ears are itchy. He always had ear infections, sinus infections, all kinds of craziness. Ear pen caps in the ear, Doc. Is that a no bueno?
I think that's possibly worse than Q-tips. Yeah. And don't put a key. People put keys in their ears. That's horrible.
Ugh, it's not even, it's unsanitary. It's dangerous. The great doctor told us about her patient that impaled himself partially, right, with a Q-tip. So,
and I've got a video in it, so I can post that. You can see his reconstructed eardrum.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. Let me show her YouTube channel. All right.
It's so sad.
I know, but I want to show it so everybody could see it just for a second, because I want everybody here in the chat. There's 250 or some odd people, 223, 231, keeps fluctuating. I want you guys to all go over and subscribe after this live is over. So let me bring up her. This is an ear cleaning video. Dr. Earwax, YouTube. Okay, here we go. So this is her YouTube. She doesn't really do much work on it. Oh, we went from 56 to 69 subscribers. Let's get that number up. I hope to see that to 1,000. She does not do a lot on here because she's concentrating on her TikTok, but she is posting some of her TikToks onto this YouTube. And I actually saw, this was a good one, but I can't play it because there's the national anthem being played, but it shows the in-ear monitors start to finish. That was a good one. So there's a lot of good stuff on here. I'm going to play the decibel meter here for. So is that bad? Was that like, I didn't know what that depiction showed because I'm not sure about the decibel meter. Was that high?
Yeah, when it goes over 100 like that, that's dangerously loud. And it was like painfully loud while I was sitting there, and I was with my kids, and I just like felt like a bad audiologist.
Let me ask you something, Doc. Did you feel the concussion on your body from the explosions?
From the fireworks?
Yeah, from the fireworks.
Yeah, so you can feel it.
You can feel that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because it can cause traumatic brain injury if you're too close to these things. And I do a lot of, I've been to a lot of post-blast schools and where we do build bombs and detonate them and then practice on finding the evidence. And we will always wear hearing protection when the devices are going off, and we say a safe distance away, but you can still feel these concussions from the positive pressure waves that are coming at you from the explosion. So yeah, it can blow out your eardrums if you're not protected. And I'm an avid shooter too. So my family and I, we shoot a lot, and we always wear good hearing protection when we're at the range and shooting.
You would get along well with my husband.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're all into guns. So here we're shooters. This is our producer Josh. We're into guns because of our profession. But Ed is a badass, says our producer Josh. I agree. He is a badass. All right, I'm going to show a bug removed from the ear. The great doctor did not have anything to do with this, but she is giving her her play-by-play. Yeah, she's going to give her play-by-play. But if you cannot handle stuff like this, our bug doctor Ian Dudu would say, he's from Australia. He would say, "Bring it on. Bring me more bugs."
Oh,
so,
my wife is a dead bug. My wife is going to love this. She loves this stuff.
All right, so I'm going full screen because this is going to be good. And I don't know if there's music on it, but I don't even give a shit. I'm just going to
talking.
Yeah. All right. So it's the great doctor. She is not doing this. She is she's
giving a play-by-play.
Correct. Thank you, Ed. All right, here we go. And her facial expressions and her at the end when she goes, when she gives the throw up in the mouth, that's the best part of it. Right here. Here we go.
Someone sent me this video of this bug getting pulled out of this person's ear. Oh my God, they're using little tiny forceps to get this out. They're just like pinching at it, trying to grab something. By the way, I'm an audiologist. I specialize in ear cleanings, and I have not had a bug come in my office yet. Oh my God, they got it. Oh, there it comes. Oh my God. How long has that been in there for? They're grabbing its little leg. Is this the same person's ear? Do they just have like a whole thing of bugs in their ear? Why is this happening? I am dead. Please never come in my office with a bug in your ear. I will literally.
Oh, it was a cockroach.
Look, wait. You just hold on. I gotta get that part back. She goes, I will literally vomit. She goes, ooh.
All over you.
She gagged. Oh my God.
I love it. I love it. That's great, Doc. Oh my God. She's like, please don't ever come into my office with a bug.
Remind me ever to bring her to a crime scene.
Yeah. Oh my God. So people are saying that's just a little bug. Some people are saying that's nasty. I'm putting all these comments on the screen. I hope it's not a roach. At the end, it looked like there was a second bug that came out of that.
It was a roach.
Mm-hmm.
I feel him like on me right now.
Yeah, it is. It's disgusting. All right. I want to just say thank you to the great doctor, Emily Taylor. You can go and subscribe to her on TikTok and check out. Everything is linked. All of her social media, her Twitter, her Instagram, I don't think I did Facebook. But if I didn't, I'll add it. But I have all of her stuff down below in the comment section. And in the description. Any final words, any type of inspiration to people for ear health? I'll give you full screen and final words with the doc.
All right. Today's takeaway message is no Q-tips, no ear candling, and go see an audiologist for a baseline hearing test. Make sure it's someone credible, check their reviews, and find out more about your hearing.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Ed, any final words for the audience?
Oh, great being here. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I certainly did, and I know my family's watching because my son, he's being a wise ass, is putting stuff up here and is asking, Doc, is selective hearing a thing? Because sometimes when my parents speak to me, it sounds like the teacher from Charlie Brown.
Yes, selective hearing is a real phenomenon. It is a real thing.
Yeah, it's more psychological than a hearing impairment.
Very situational.
Yeah.
Listen, guys and girls, the Crime Time with DutyRon audience, I'm going to go full screen with me for a second. Listen, I like to bring educational stuff. It doesn't always have to be about criminal cases, the missing persons, the doom and gloom and gore. We did get a little bit of it at the end here with the bug being removed from that woman's ear. But I am really in tune to you guys with Christmas time. I know a lot of people spend it alone. A lot of people get kind of depressed and sad. You can go over to DutyRon.com and send me a message. I'm always available to you. If I don't answer you right away, I will get back to you. Again, this is one of the greatest true crime communities on YouTube, and I greatly appreciate you guys. So I want to go back to my guest, say thank you, Dr. Taylor. Emily, you've been just a great guest and a good sport, and I appreciate that. Will you come back again if we need you? I think my audience really loved you. And if you're not subscribed to all of her social, go and check it out and subscribe. On behalf of Crime Time with DutyRon, Ed Wallace, and myself, I want to say thank you. Guys, good night from New York City. And as I always say on all of these live streams, God bless the world, God bless the United States of America, and God bless each and every one of us here in the chat, and all victims of crime and their families across the globe. Thank you from New York, and thank you. We'll see you again. Peace.